it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I read in 2016. I did one of these last year, and so I decided to do another one this year. I'm hoping to film a lot more book related videos, so book reviews, book lists, and I thought this would be a great way to kick off the year. I record all of the books that I read in this journal. It's a Matilda one because who does not love Matilda? I'm going to read all of the books first, and then I'll go on to short stories. Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, Life of Pi by Yann Martel, We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler, A Little Princess, The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, Drowning Anna by Sue Mayfield, My Little Phony by Lucy Harrison, These Boots Were Made for Stalking by Lucy Harrison, Villette by Charlotte Bronte, Wolf by Wolf, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, The Shock of the Fall, Kim by Rudyard Kipling, Book by John Aggard, Schrodinger's Cat by John Gribbins, Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee, A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, The Lifeboat Clique by Kathy Parks, As Dead as It Gets by Katie Allender, The School for Good and Evil by Saman Chainani, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, The Elements of Eloquence by Mark Forsyth, and now we're going into the summer holidays. They're all of the books that I read before the summer holidays, so January to July, and these are all the books that I read during the summer. Think by Simon Blackburn, My Grammar and Me, The Distance Between Lost and Found, Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, If I Stay by Gail Forman, Black Harvest by Anne Pilling, The Best Little Girl in the World, Where She Went by Gail Forman, Atonement by Ian McEwan, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, The Kite Runner, Secrets at Mallory Towers by Enid Blyton, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, 100 Days of Solitude by Daphne Capsally, The Go-Between by L.P. Hartley, Affluenza by Oliver James, The Silver Lining Playbook by Matthew Quick, Fermat's Last Theorem by Simon Singh, Inside Alcatraz by Jim Quillen, Sister Noon by Karen Joy Fowler, and then this is the end of summer, so these are all the books that I read after the summer holidays. Unholy by Neil Shusterman, Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, Doppler by Erland Lowe, On Writers and Writing by Margaret Atwood, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer, A Night to Remember, which was about the Titanic, Othello by Shakespeare, The Beautiful and the Damned by Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald for the second time, Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, Pronoun, The Maids by Benedict Andrews and Andrew Upton, Jessica's Ghost, Prisoners of Geography, Little Darlings, Charmed and Dangerous, The Trouble with Goats and Sheep, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Boy by Roald Dahl. And now I'm going to move on to the short stories that I read. Bartleby the Scrivener by Herman Melville. All of these are by Carson McCullers. I read The Ballad of the Sad Cafe, Wonderkind, The Jockey, The King of Finland, The Sojourner, I don't know how to pronounce that, A Domestic Dilemma, A Tree, a Rock, a Cloud, and then by Roald Dahl I read Katina, Only This, Beware of the Dog, An African Story, Yesterday Was Beautiful, A Piece of Cake, They Shall Not Grow Old, Madame Rosette, Death of an Old Man, Someone Like You, The Maiden Hall Treasure, Man from the South, The Sound Machine, Poison, Dip in the Pool, Skin, My Lady Love, My Dove, Lamb to the Slaughter, Nunc Dimittis, Edward the Conqueror, Galloping Foxley, Neck, The Wish, The Soldier, The Great Automatic Grammatizator, Claude's Dog, The Ratcatcher, Claude's Dog Rummins, Claude's Dog Mr. Hoddy, and Claude's Dog Mr. Feesey. And they are all of the books that I read in 2016. Now for the top 5 books that I read in the whole of 2016, and actually I'm going to have to change it to my top 6 books because I can't narrow it down to just 5. So first of all was Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I'd never read it before, but I'm so glad that I now have. Every time that I read Dickens, I'm reminded how much I love his work. The next one was The Distance Between Lost and Found, and this was actually a young adult book, and I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. Tell me whether you want me to do a video on my favourite young adult books. The Distance Between Lost and Found is another one which is related to bullying, but I don't think I mentioned it in my anti-bullying book list. The next one that I loved was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I loved it. There was so many elements of old-fashionedness within it, and I think that's what really appealed to me, because it was set in the modern day, but there were elements of the Victorian era within. The next book I loved was The Kite Runner, and anyone who hasn't read this, you have to go and read it. It is one of those books that will just stay with you forever. The story is so heartbreaking. Esme, Kitty, Martha and I and our families went to go and see the stage production of it in London. The next one that I really loved was A Night to Remember. I'm really interested in the Titanic, and this was a collection of interviews and accounts from survivors, and the author used this to put together a minute-by-minute account of what actually happened. It was amazing, it was so in-depth. The last of my favourites was Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, and I mentioned this in my anti-bullying book list. It's possibly the best book on bullying that I've ever read, and that's saying a lot because I've read a lot of books on bullying. It's just one of those books that is so heartbreaking. It's really well written. You can definitely see the distinction between child and adult within it, and it just shows the long-lasting effects of bullying. So I just really loved it. I love Margaret Atwood's work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you are inspired to go and read a few of these books yourselves. Have a productive week.